When I was studying for this message, it brought to mind something that happened in my life years ago. From the time that I started elementary school and all through high school and a little bit of college, I played basketball. And despite being the littlest one on the court most of the time, I loved it. I loved the challenge of it. But out of all the games that I participated in throughout the years, there is one that stands out above the rest. And the school that we played that night was always tough. I mean, the games got ugly real quick. Every time we played this particular team, it was more like playing football than basketball. But the game this particular night, everything about it was what we expected. It was a knockdown, drag out kind of game. The majority of the players were fouled out on both sides. It was just a very physical game. It was intense. And I'll never forget it. The gym was totally packed out. Both levels of the gym were full, and the fans were standing and shouting and stomping their feet on both sides. I mean, the energy in that building was crazy. The crowd was in a frenzy. It was wild. It was awesome. And if you're an athlete or a sports fanatic, then you know what I'm talking about. It was just intense in every way. But what made this game stand out particularly is we were down several points, and there was very little time left on the clock. We only had a few seconds to get the ball back and score, which is a very difficult thing to do with only seconds on the clock. And my team was exhausted. We were plumb worn out, but we pushed forward. We ignored the pain and we went after them. We refused to give up. We wanted the ball back. We wanted to win, and we decided in those last few seconds that we were not going to give up until the game was officially over. So the coach called a full court press, and we put the pressure on them. And long story short, we ended up stealing the ball and scoring. I was fouled during the layup, and actually, foul doesn't quite cover it. I was practically slammed into the floor. I think it might have been payback for a busted nose earlier in the game. But the foul provided us the free throw shot that we needed to win. And with very little time left on the clock, the basketball barely touched the net as it went in the goal. And we ended up winning the game. It was a huge victory for our team, and it was very much a team effort. But after the game was over, as we were all leaving the locker room and heading to the bus, my coach pulled me aside along with one of the assistant coaches, and he said something that has stuck with me all of my life. His voice was practically gone from screaming and yelling over the crowd the entire game. His voice was practically a whisper. And he got right in my face, and he called me by my first name for the first time in 4 years of high school basketball. And you know, coaches don't do that. They always call you by your last name. But he got right in my face, and he said, "Serenity, you remember tonight. That's how you win. No matter what's on the clock, no matter how things appear, you don't ever give up." He told me, that's how you win. No matter what's on the clock, no matter what things look like, you don't ever give up. And that piece of advice has stuck with me all of my life. And the advice didn't come from a pastor, godly mentor, family member, or friend, but it came from someone who just happened to be very good at winning and was one of the best coaches in the state of Oklahoma at that time. But God used that man to speak into my life and give me probably the best advice that I've ever been given. No matter what's on the clock, no matter what things look like, you don't ever give up. You may be exhausted because of the fight. You may feel like it's over. You may feel worn down and beat up, and you may be staring at a whole lot of nothing in your life, but you cannot quit. You cannot give up. Because things can change for you in a moment's time, in a split second, with one phone call, one email, one knock at the door, the one right person coming across your resume. The miracle can manifest at any time. In an instant, God can turn it all around. And that's why you cannot give up. In one moment, everything can change. But you've got to keep going. The promise requires perseverance.